Have you ever wanted to book a recurring meeting from HubSpot? In today's Winsight, I'll show you how I did it. Hi, I'm Ryan Schweihart, founder of Whole Heart Impact, where I help businesses grow leveraging HubSpot and Zapier. Today's Winsight will be kind of a fun one. We're going to pretend like we're an owner of a cleaning company. And so whenever we get an inquiry into into HubSpot, we're going to want to schedule an initial cleaning. And then we want that initial cleaning to turn into a recurring meeting. So I'm going to use HubSpot and we're going to jump into basically a scheduling part of HubSpot. We're going to pretend like the form has already been submitted and the information has been gathered. So we're going to pick it up at the point where we want to go ahead and schedule that client for their cleaning services. And then from there, I'm going to show you how I use Google Calendar and Zapier to then set up a recurring meeting within our scheduling calendar. So stay tuned and I'll show you how. So just to set the stage here, we have a deal that we're going to want to set up for biweekly cleaning services. And we have a contact associated with this deal. So what I'm going to want to do is go ahead and book a meeting. I'll hop over into our scheduling calendar just to show you that it is blank here. So you can see nothing displayed. And what we want to do is go ahead and book a meeting. So I'll click the meeting portion. We have the ability to book a specific user, or if we want to set up a meeting rotation, we can select that. Click this settings icon. It'll take you to the page within settings that you need to navigate to set up a meeting rotation. Right now, I'm just going to use the user method, and I'm going to select myself in this case. I'm going to put in initial cleaning for, and then what I want to do is hop over here and go out, say, let's do the 15th on Monday, and it's actually going to be a 3-hour cleaning. So we'll select that there. The attendees will make sure that we will select the associated contact for the meeting itself. For the location, we'll put in the person's address and do that. We can select whether we want to do a reminder email for this initial cleaning, or we can leverage essentially what Google has set up for their reminders and go about it that way. And then if we want to put in information, we can, leveraging something like a snippet. Let me know if you need help setting up a snippet. But then from here, you have the information for some pre-cleaning tips or reminders that you want people to be aware of. So I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and select save. What this is going to do is schedule the initial cleaning. And then we've got it scheduled for Monday, July 15th. What it's going to do is it's going to create a recurring calendar invite for the subsequent month or subsequent week, excuse me, on the 22nd. And that's going to continue based on how we've set it up in Zapier. So we'll go ahead and hit save. And then essentially what we're going to do is just wait for the automation to run. So while we're doing that, you'll see that there's nothing here. We scheduled it for what, the 15th. So we're really looking for the 22nd for that information to populate. This is not an instant trigger. So depending on your Zapier plan, it's going to pull or find new information at a certain frequency. So this could be anywhere from 1 minute to 15 minutes, I believe, depending on the plan that you're on. In this case, the plan that I'm on should take, I think, two or 3 minutes. And so we'll wait for that to come through. But as far as the Zap itself and how I've set it up, the main thing is to use a new engagement in HubSpot as the trigger step. So let me hop into the edit mode here. And so new engagement in HubSpot as a trigger step. For the type of engagement, we're going to select meeting, and that's pretty much it. Then we go into the filter step, and this filter step is just to make sure that we get the initial cleaning portion. So right now what I have looking for is the um, initial cleaning that's in the title, and if it does find that, it will allow the Zap to continue. I have two formatter steps here to format the start time and end time. So this is essentially to push it out 1 week, since that initial cleaning is actually getting scheduled via HubSpot. We are then wanting to set up the recurrence. And so that's what's happening here. So all I'm going to do is for the formatter step, I'm going to select the date time for the event, and then I'm going to add 1 week. So you populate the information in Zapier as displayed here. And for the format, I just want to keep it in, I believe it's called like the serial format um, or whatever it's called. And so, yeah, you just select, in this case, the X. So you're not really applying any formatting to the date time itself. And so plus 1 week for the start time. And then I went ahead and duplicated that step and did the same thing for adding 1 week to the end time. Um, then this step is just to get the contact information, mainly the name and the email, so that way whenever we set up the recurring calendar invite, we can input that information because we don't get all that information from the trigger step. So we'll get the calendar, get the contact from HubSpot and that detailed information. One of the things that I am also retrieving is the service type. And so this is currently set up at a contact level. It may be better to set it up at a deal level, but in general, the thinking here is like, okay, if you have someone on a weekly or a bi-weekly or a monthly service option, you could then path based on that within Zapier to set up the appropriate recurrence within Zapier, so or within Google Calendar. And so the main portion is creating a detailed event um, within Google Calendar. So that's the last step of our Zap. And then we go ahead and select the calendar that we want to connect to. And then you bring in whatever information you want from the initial meeting that was created in HubSpot. You bring in the address. Um, the start and end time is from the previous formatter step. Select the frequency that you want. Again, if you wanted to path to populate the appropriate frequency, or you could even get fancy and forego the path and basically um, do some customization or like a lookup table to find the frequency and input that in as a variable instead of selecting it from the dropdown. So to do that, you would go ahead and create that lookup table or whatever previous to the step. Then you could hop over into this custom portion and select that output from the previous step. Yep, so essentially what you do is pretty self-explanatory. Go through and populate the information that you would prefer. You can input the attendee information in here as well. So the moment of truth, we'll hop over. You should see the calendar invite displayed. There we go. If we go back 1 week, we don't see that initial cleaning. Part of that's just the calendar setup in general, because I'm using this cleaning scheduler, but the calendar that I've connected in HubSpot isn't necessarily tied to this. But in theory, you'd get everything connected properly, set up properly, and so that initial cleaning would show up on this cleaning schedule calendar as well. So that's pretty much it. I think we set it up for 4 recurrences. So we see 1 here, 2, 3, and 4, and then it drops off. Some pro tips, if you wanted, you could also pass a URL to the HubSpot record itself into here for ease of navigation. And so let's say you wanted to reschedule a certain cleaning, you would have that URL available in case you needed it, but you could also do so just from Google Calendar here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm sure there's other thoughts or other questions that come to mind, so by all means reach out to me or leave a comment below. Bye for now.